Hello friends, welcome to my channel. My name is Louisa Maya, and on this channel I share about faith and lifestyle. Please like, share and subscribe. This week I'll be sharing more on Daniel fast and especially how I come up with a meal timetable using your local or common Kenyan foods. So I like to start my fast with prayer of course, and writing down my intentions for that fast so that I can be specific during prayer, and also after the fast I can reflect back on what God has answered and what He is answering. Right after that, I jump straight into kind of getting myself mentally organized and writing down the meal ideas that I have and basically meal prepping. I'll be speaking more on this getting more into detail about this at the end of the video. So if you'd like to see how I get mentally organized, then definitely watch until the end. So this is what I bought for this Daniel fast. We have some spring onions, some Chinese stir fry, some French beans, baby potatoes. You can buy any potatoes really, and bell peppers. I just needed to stock up because most of the vegetables we have at home. And then brown rice, because you can't cook white rice, as you saw from the list. And also whole wheat spaghetti. Whole wheat pasta. And then for the flour I used this brand Winnie's Pure Health because it is very Daniel fast friendly. Like as you can see in the ingredients side, it's whole grain wheat for the chapati, and for gali it's maize flour without any other like additives that you might find in other brands. Let's say for jogo, for the ugali, we have wheat semolina, which is not Daniel fast friendly. And then for chapati or all-purpose flour, it's fortified, it's not whole wheat flour. So yes. And also for breakfast, I bought this. I told you it will mainly be like a dinner meal plan, but some ideas. I bought this Alpro almond no sugars milk. You can take coconut milk if you want with your oats. And then I bought this bran flakes, but sadly I didn't check the ingredients because I just assumed they didn't add sugar. So it has sugar, so I won't be eating this during this Daniel fast. And then if you can't stomach oats, which I can't, you can buy these fruits to add, like berries and strawberries etc. But I normally just use this to make cookies. Alternative breakfast ideas are your fruit salads, smoothie bowls, your sweet potatoes and doma / arrowroots etc. Shida zangu zikawa nyingi, lakini bado ni wangu wa milele. Check the description box down below for a link to the approved list of Daniel fast foods. Since you can't add sugar to your chapatis, I'll be boiling this butternut and adding it to my dough together with some carrots. Another pro tip is when making chapatis during meal plan, try and knead the dough before you start making any other food. This allows the dough to rest and makes for softer chapatis. So what is a Daniel fast? It is a religious partial fast based on the biblical book of Daniel, where people tend to avoid rich or choice foods. This is your meats and your wines in favor of vegetables and water. It typically runs for 10 or 21 days, as we see in Daniel chapter 1 verse 12, where it says, "Please test your servants for 10 days. Give us nothing but vegetables to eat and water to drink." And Daniel chapter 10 verse 2 to 3, which says, "At that time, I, Daniel, mourned for 3 weeks. I ate no choice food, no meat or wine touched my lips, and I used no lotions at all until the 3 weeks were over." The origins of the Daniel fast are actually, or the Daniel diet actually found in Genesis chapter 1 verse 29, where God says, "See, I have given you every herb that yields seed, which is on the face of all the earth, and every tree whose fruit yields seed. To you it shall be food." This he commanded the first Adam. And fun fact is, it was actually after the flood that we got to eat nyama choma. Which just goes to prove that after a flood comes a blessing. So in Genesis chapter 9 verse 3 to 4, when God is blessing Noah and his sons, he says that that's chapter 9 verse 3 to 4, "Every moving thing shall be food for you. I have given you all things, even as the green herbs." And then it even says that we shouldn't eat the meat with its life, which is its blood. So Daniel fast is essentially vegan, but slightly healthier since we do not eat processed food. And also the reasons behind it are different. So it's been a long day and I'm finally done with the meal prep. I spent like the whole afternoon making this. So we have coconut ndegu here and stir fry, brown rice. I didn't make this. This is just some pilipili ya kukaanga, vegetable stew, some French bean curry, chapatis that I'll have today or tomorrow, and some blanched chapos. That means like they're half cooked and I'll just save them in the freezer. So yeah, this is basically my meal prep for, I think it will last me a week or less. Okay, bye. So this is my thought process when I meal plan. I first start with a rough outline where I take stock. By taking stock, I mean just thinking of the foods that are in the house and what foods I can cook. I divide those foods into 3 categories, which is your base, your accompaniments, and your sides. Under base, I mean the foundations of your meal or dish. This is your rice, your chapati, your roast potatoes, etc. And for accompaniments, I mainly mean your stews and your curries, like vegetable stew, ndegu, and even your cabbages and skuma wiki. Sides mainly like kachumbari are just things that spice up your meal. After that, I now come up with a rough idea of the meals or dishes that I want to eat within that period. So what I do is divide the bases into columns and write down the accompaniments that I can have with those said bases in the given columns. So like with rice, I can eat it with beans, with vegetable stew, with French and potato curry. And then there's others that are less forgiving, like your ugali, which I can only eat with greens and stews or curries. And then of course we have our standalones, which are things that you can eat hivyo tu. That's your githeri or nyoyo and your matoke and fried rice. After that, of course, I now write out the meal plan, and yeah, and I'm done. So these are just some tips that you can use if you're meal planning. Frozen chapatis is actually something that I learned recently. So for me, this is just this is just like a major key alert, because I love chapatis, and if I want to eat chapatis on a Monday and maybe on Thursday and I want fresh chapatis, I don't want to go through that whole process of making the dough again. So what I do is I cook, like I heat both sides without oil, and then I save them. And then, I mean, who wouldn't want fresh chapatis without baking the dough? So definitely do that if you like chapatis. And also focus on your accompaniments. That's your sauces and your stews and curries, because you don't want to be in a situation where you're eating dry food. If you're meal planning, really focus on this. Let's say if you want to eat ugali and you have no sauce or stew, you're going to be eating dry ugali with greens, and we are not about that struggle. And also think ahead. Of course, meal planning is thinking ahead, but if you're in a situation where you haven't done the planning, if you haven't done the work, then you can plan your meals ahead. That is, you know, like, you think of meals that carry over. Let's say if I eat chapati, chapati again. Let's say I eat chapati and beans tonight, then I know the next day I can eat rice and beans. So that makes it easier for me to not be repeating meals. I can have new meals, and also it saves up on time. Like I don't need to be making the bases and the accompaniments each and every day. So I hope this video was a blessing to you. I hope it was informative. Please come back. Please like, share, and subscribe, and see you in the next video. Bye.